Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of FootyPod. Rather than doing Premier League predictions this week, we're going to be looking at the Champions League and Europa League draws that happened earlier today, because as you probably know, there aren't that many Premier League games this week. Today, I'm joined by Harry Davis. Unfortunately, Daniel and Vihan aren't here. It's only the two of us today, but that's what we'll normally do for these predictions. So let's get started. And the first game that we have is Barissia Dortmund versus Manchester City. What do you think about that, Harry?
I think it'll be quite an interesting game. They're two very strong sides. Both of them will have probably reached in the final even. But judging by current form, I reckon it'll be a City win on aggregate.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think I agree with you, actually. I can see Man City winning this one, definitely. Borussia Dortmund aren't doing too well in the domestic league, and I think Man City are just on too good at the moment. They're just too good. They've come back really well after their loss against Manchester United, and they're back in red-hot form. I can see this going 6-2 to Man City on aggregate. I think that would be a good estimate.
I'm just going to go 4-1 to Man City on aggregate.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's a realistic score.
Yeah, because Foden for Man City, I think we should talk a bit about Foden. I watched the game between the second leg between Man City and Borussia Mönchengladbach, and Foden's assist for Gundogan's goal was amazing.
It's a very top tier player. He's fantastic.
I mean, he's still very young and he's going to develop a lot, but he's already competing at the highest level. So I do think he's pretty promising. Any Dortmund players you think we should look out for in this tie?
As always, Erling Haaland. He's an absolute monster in front of goal. Nothing can stop him. No one can stop him. He will score. Even if Dortmund only score one, he will score it. I think we should be looking out for him.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. Okay, I think we should move on to our next tie, which is Porto versus Chelsea. Now, lots of people have been saying that this is one of the most predictable ties. I'm not too sure about that. I mean, Chelsea are in good form at the moment under Tuchel, but Porto, you never know what's going to happen in the Champions League. Morega's been playing quite well recently, and definitely Sergio Oliveira. Mbemba and Pepe as their centre-backs. Really experienced partnership.
And then they've got Martinez in goal, who I think is kind of an unsung hero of Porto. Yeah, I agree. But then you look at Chelsea and you look at all their young attacking talent, Hudson-Odoi, Tammy Abraham, Mason Mount, Werner, Ziyech, Havertz. But they've also got lots of experienced players to help the younger players improve, Giroud and Jorginho, even though he's not quite as attacking minded. So what's your prediction for this match? I'm not sure. I think it will be a Chelsea victory, but I think it'll be quite close, maybe 2-2, but away goals go to Chelsea.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, a lot of people have been saying this is the easiest tie, and I really don't agree with that. I think it'll be really close, as you said. I think it'll probably be 1-1 and Chelsea win on away goals. I think it will be 0-0 at Stamford Bridge and 1-1 in Portugal. Any guesses as to who will score?
I think Mason Mount's been in great form. I think he'll grab a goal or two. Taremi from Porto is in decent form as well. I think he might grab a goal or two.
Yeah, I actually think Pepe might score, I mean, he's got great heading ability from corners. Okay, let's move on to our next Champions League tie, which is Bayern Munich versus PSG. Now, this was the final last year, and of course, Bayern won 1-0 and then won the Champions League. But this time, do you think it'll be a different result, Harry?
I'm really, really struggling for this one. This is the hardest one to predict because Bayern Munich, they haven't been that amazing this year, but they're Bayern Munich. You can never underestimate them. And you look at PSG as well, also not doing very well domestically. But you look at that squad, you look at the performances they put in recently, they're on fantastic form. Mbappe's on fantastic form. Neymar will probably be back from his injury. It's quite hard to predict this one. What do you think?
I think something very unpredictable will happen. I mean, there's always going to be a wacky result in one of these games, and it's just hard to say which one, but I think this is probably the one. I'm going to go for a 5-2 win on aggregate for PSG. Even though PSG are struggling domestically and Bayern are currently in red-hot form beating Lazio, I do think PSG still have that natural talent. They've got so many attacking players, although their lack of defenders might hurt them.
I think I was going to go with a 4-3 aggregate win Bayern Munich. That I think this will be quite close, but it will come down to the wire. But I think Bayern Munich in the end will win.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that happening, but I just think, one of these games is going to produce a game that we never saw coming. And I just think it's going to be this one. Any thoughts as to who might score?
Mbappe, probably. He's one of the best players in the world right now. He's just another goal machine. His technical ability is insane. No one can keep up with him. Probably also, I think maybe Serge Gnabry will score. I rate him as a player. He's quite good, and he's got the talent to score. He scored 4 against Tottenham last year. What's to say he can't do that again?
Okay, I think it's time to move on to our last Champions League tie, which is Liverpool versus Real Madrid. So the Champions League final from 2018 was Liverpool versus Real Madrid, where Sergio Ramos dislocated Salah's elbow.
And Gareth Bale scored a bicycle kick.
Yes, and Loris Karius blundered twice, which was quite a hilarious display. So what do you think the result will be this time? Do you think Liverpool can get their revenge?
I'm predicting pretty much a repeat of 2018. I think Real Madrid will win again. I'm not sure if it'll be the same scoreline. I might go for a bit closer. I think I'll go for 3-2 on aggregate to Real Madrid. I feel like Real Madrid is a better team at the moment. They're in better form. Liverpool, I guess, have just won, but it was away, so they still haven't won at home in so long. And I think that might hurt them. I don't think they're going to win this. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, don't forget the fact that they beat RB Leipzig at home in the Champions League. Round of 16. I think Liverpool are struggling domestically, but not in Europe so much. I mean, you look at their results in Europe and they're playing really well. And they play quite attractive football. I think it might be because maybe the Premier League's just too fast-paced for Jurgen Klopp's tactics now. Maybe his tactics are just wearing off a bit in the Premier League, but they still seem to work well in Europe. So I could see this going either way. I mean, depending on how Liverpool line up. I mean, obviously for Real Madrid, we're going to get, Benzema and Sergio Ramos in the lineup because they need that leadership. So I'm probably going to go for a 3-2 Liverpool win on aggregate. And I'm predicting that Salah will score a brace.
I think also I agree. I think Salah will score, but I think we'll also get goals from Benzema, definitely. He's in pretty good form, and he's a good striker anyway. He's been scoring lots of goals for Real Madrid this season. And I think we might also get a goal. Just going to throw it out there. We'll get one from Rafael Varane.
Yeah, I can see that happening. Okay, let's move on to the Europa League tie now. And the first one is Granada versus Manchester United. Now, who do you think will win this one?
Well, if you look at the teams that both sides have got, it looks very one-sided towards Man United. But Granada are a solid team. They play good football. They were very, very good for a side that had just been promoted last season in La Liga. And I think they're doing quite well this season as well. They're in 8th place in the league, which is, again, pretty good. They're not that far from Europe. And they have some very good players in their side. But I still think Man United will win. I think it will be kind of one-sided in the end, actually. And I'm going to go with a 5-2, 5-1 aggregate win to Man United. Alex?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Granada are a solid team, and on paper, Man United look a lot better. But of course, football's played on a pitch. Manchester United against AC Milan, pretty flawless performance. Brilliant from Lindelof and Maguire at the back, really solid there. This one's quite hard because on paper, Man United are like unstoppable, but on the pitch, anything can happen. I'm going to go for a 4-0 win to Man United on aggregate regardless, but I'm just throwing it out there. Granada might have a chance. Okay, let's move on to our next Europa League tie, which is Arsenal versus Slavia Praha. I mean, I can see this going to Arsenal, actually. I mean, Slavia Praha, they're a good team, but Arsenal are just that step up, really. They've got so much young attacking talent like Saka and, Smith Rowe. Martinelli, I think, coming back from injury now, and they got Tierney in defence. They're lacking central defenders, but Gabriel signing in the summer and Thomas Partey controlling the midfield should help them see this one through. And I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Arsenal. Do you have any thoughts on that, Harry?
I agree with you. Arsenal are probably the better team on paper, and as you said earlier, football is played on the pitch, not on paper. But I think the stats here will say that it's in Arsenal's favour, and I agree with them. I'm going to go with 4-0 to Arsenal.
Okay, let's move on to the next tie, which is probably the most interesting tie in the Europa League quarterfinals. It's Ajax versus Roma, 2 of the 3 favourites, really, maybe 4 favourites to win the Europa League, facing off in the quarterfinals. It was probably going to happen anyway, but it has happened, and Ajax versus Roma is going to be a good game. Who do you think will win this one? Because I think Ajax might have the upper hand, but you never know.
I think this one will be quite close. Both Roma and Ajax have some very good talent, attacking and defending. But I think if you look at Ajax's players, I think they kind of have a bit of an advantage. They've got Quincy Promes, who's a solid player, Dusan Tadic as well. They've got Daley Blind at the back, who's very solid. They got Nicola Tagliafico. However, they are missing their goalkeeper Andre Onana because he got banned.
Yeah, that was quite unfortunate for them. I can see this one going Ajax's way. I think it will probably be a 2-1 win to Ajax. Although Onana being suspended will be a big blow to them, I think that they'll still be able to fend off Roma. Okay, now moving on to our last prediction. It's Dynamo Zagreb, who beat Spurs 3-0 last night, versus Villarreal. How do you see this one playing out, Harry?
I actually think for this one, Dynamo Zagreb will win. They're in good form. Mislav Orsic, obviously, scoring a hat-trick yesterday, and some pretty good goals as well to come back against Tottenham Hotspur. And I think he and Dynamo Zagreb can carry that form and beat Villarreal. However many good players Villarreal have. Do you agree or disagree, Alex?
I've got to say I disagree with you. I mean, Dynamo Zagreb, they beat Spurs, but I think Villarreal can beat them. I think that was mostly just luck and just a fluke. I mean, I'm not saying they're bad, but Villarreal are better, in my opinion. And I can just see this going 3-2 to Villarreal, scraping past Dynamo Zagreb. So what do you think about this one, Harry?
I think that it will actually be, as I said, a Zagreb win. And I think it will probably be a close one, but 2-1 to Zagreb on aggregate. I think that Orsic will score again. And I think it'll be a Zagreb win.
And that concludes this week's episode. I really hope you enjoyed our Champions League and Europa League quarter-final predictions. And we'll see you next week for more predictions and another main podcast. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and watch some of our other videos on this channel. Goodbye.